Hello everyone. I chose to do my oral presentation on non-governmental organizations' role in disaster management. I find that this topic is very interesting and it fits right in with my future career goals. My name is Maria Galvez and I'm currently working on obtaining my master's in public administration and getting an emergency management certificate. My ultimate career goal is to eventually manage a disaster-oriented, nonprofit organization. I'd like to start off by talking about the importance of non-governmental organizations in disaster management. Throughout the years, non-profit organizations have become a big part of all four stages involved in emergency management. Services provided by non-profit organizations when a disaster strikes include but are not limited to shelter, clothing, water, money, mental health, and prescription drugs. Due to these essential resources that non-governmental organizations provide to disaster victims, the populations that have been struck by disasters have become extremely dependent of volunteers and staff providing basic life necessities that help these victims get back on their feet. As the idea of nonprofit organizations has evolved, the government has also become more dependent on nonprofit organizations because without the training of volunteers to respond to emergency disasters, it would be physically impossible for the government to provide help to every single person that has been faced with a disaster. Non-governmental organizations collaborate with first responders, governments of all levels, and other agencies and organizations providing relief services to sustain life, reduce physical and emotional distress, and promote recovery to disaster victims when assistance is not available from other sources. The reliance of the government on nonprofit organizations to provide resources during times of need and vice versa has become highly criticized by many scholars, but it has also created what we now call cross-sector collaboration. Cross-sector collaboration has been around for some time now. It has created to fill the gaps or shortcomings of the private, humanitarian, but mostly the public sector. Gloria Simo defines cross-sector collaboration as partnerships involving government, business, nonprofits, philanthropies, communities, and/or the public as a whole towards a mutual goal. Many say that this cross-sector collaboration will help NGOs, public and private agencies develop a more efficient emergency management plan because it is previously arranged contracts that determine each sector's role in the response to a disaster. But others argue that this dependency limits nonprofit organizations to have independent interests due to the government funding that may potentially shape the initial interest of the nonprofit organization towards interests that support current or future public policies, that it is in the interest of the government agency funding these nonprofit organizations. Scholars like Kurt Mills argue that due to the constant collaboration with the government, the idea of nonprofit organizations being neutral and independent is a myth. I personally think that although neutrality can be at stake at times when cross-sector collaboration exists, it is impossible nowadays for nonprofit organizations to not work together with other private and public agencies. I think that defeats the whole purpose of teamwork and efficiency. I disagree with the idea that NGOs are moving away from their initial mission when collaboration is enhanced between other agencies, because at the end of the day, NGOs are still working towards the goal of helping those who are in need. I would like to provide a couple of examples of different nonprofit organizations that have responded to disasters in the past. I would like to start off by talking about the National Voluntary Organizations Active in Disaster. This agency coordinates planning efforts by many voluntary organizations responding to disaster in order to provide a more effective service to people affected by disasters. The agency consists of 34 national voluntary organizations that are involved in the emergency management stages of mitigation and response. It also has 52 state and territorial chapters. The benefits that this agency provides are not only resources to individuals affected by disasters, but it also helps maintain a close working relationship with FEMA and encourages state and local affiliates to work closely with local, state, and federal agencies.